125 laps in a doubleheader. We're getting ready to start here. Actually, starting as we speak. Green flag flies as they go for 125 laps around Oxford's Plains Speedway here in the Maritime iRacing League. Ricky Arbeau in front of the field, and he could have a chance to solidify his 2014 Spring Season Championship hopes alive as he leads lap number 1. You're watching the Maritime iRacing League on ETV Motorsports Entertainment. Joe Cortez, Evan Pisoko join you a little bit late tonight due to technical difficulties, but nonetheless, we are on track here for what's going to be very quick 125 lap race at Oxford Plains before we pack them all up and go straight to New Smyrna for another 125 laps. Ricky Arbeau in control of this field. Ron McKay, Carter Wilson, Stephen Matthews, Stephen Arsenault, your top 5, Evan Pisoko.
Yeah, that's right, currently working lap 3, Ricky Arbeau, currently up in the race lead. He's going to take lap 4 right now. This is our second trip to the Oxford Plains Speedway in the 2014 spring campaign here with the Maritime iRacing League. Some of these guys, they've had their history on this racetrack. Some key points is going to be watching that curbing on the inside lane, especially if you're going side by side, knowing that that inside lane is preferred. You don't want to get two wheels up on that, and that's an easy way to go around coming off the corner.
One guy that almost went around the corner is a 55 machine of Mackenzie Brewer. Hit the curbing, as you say, and easily lost 3 positions the hard way to Kyle Gammon, a transferring a nice race. Sean Pierce and now Todd Cousins trying to avoid making the same exact mistake as he tries to get around the 55 of Mackenzie Brewer. No such luck this time around. A battle behind them as Scott Negus, 29 Berlin City Ford machine, gets passed by 072 of Craig Weagle, and here comes the man second in points, Jake Goodwin, starting from the back tonight on lap number 7. He's almost bisected the field.
Jake Goodwin still is trying to look for his first win on the season, has been very competitive, and he touched on that where he is in the championship standings, currently sits 4th in the championship standings, entering this evening's race. In that traffic right now, he's got the 29 machine against Scott Negus behind him. In front of him, the 55 machine of Mackenzie Brewer. Last time we were here, it was Stephen Matthews who was able to walk away with that checkered flag. He is currently sitting in the 4th position.
Ricky Arbeau, though, controlling all 8 laps we've run so far, about to control lap number 9. As we said a moment ago, he has an opportunity tonight to solidify his championship hopes. If he wins here at Oxford Plains, then the season is effectively over. No matter what he does for the next 2 races, Ricky Arbeau will walk away with the Spring 2014 Super Series Championship. And what a challenging championship it's been, going from virtually the regular late models to now the brand new Super late models across tracks of all shapes and sizes. And tonight, Ricky Arbeau leading at this less than a half-mile Oxford Plains Speedway, only about 4/10 of a mile.
One car that had a little bit of a wobble there, 38 of Travis Roma, was running in line in the 7th position, got loose, had to move up to the outside lane. There's no wall to catch you there. If you get knocked off track, make a little bit of contact, you're going to slide out there into that dirt, and you're pretty much out of luck there. So Roma was able to gather it up, however, he did drop back to the number 9 position right now as we are single file throughout the top 10 leaders. Running fairly close to each other, Ricky Arbeau at a 61 machine. He isn't on the .03. Ronnie McKay he hasn't been able to get his win to this extent in this season yet. In the 03 machine, trying to pick that up here in the closing stages. As you mentioned, 2 races remain after this evening's race. One of those being the All-Star race now, as race leader 61 of Ricky Arbeau goes to put the 00 machine of Martin Landry 1 lap down.
Mike Rhino, the 34 machine, having a little bit of trouble as Mike Rhino, the 35 of Kevin Walker, positions 5 and 6, get around Carson Alb as they pass him without any ease. Mike Rhino, the 34 machine, the Ford EcoBoost machine, looking to have a little bit better run than he's had all season. You see him running in the top 10 throughout the right. And then we got a car that's going around. That's going to be the 98 machine of Stephen Matthews, the CBC racing driver, gets in front of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position, able to turn around, though, in the infield and get it back going the right way. So Stephen Matthews will not bring out the caution flag, but it's a very close encounter in the beginning of this race.
Yeah, that was kind of strange. He was following the 27 machine in front of him, just got sideways, spun down there to the inside, no inside wall either, was able to go back, bring it back out on the apron, re-enter the racetrack out of back straightaway, and is able to get back going. I talked about the fact that he was the winner here in the first trip to the Oxford Plains Speedway in this 2014 campaign. Not looking good for him now. 3rd last car right now, sitting P20 at a 98 machine. He is in the current lucky dog position as he runs on the track.
Another car gets around right in front of your leaders as they battle for the lead. Chris Garnett in the 02 machine was right among them as their leaders battled for the lead. Ron McKay will pick up the lead, or as a result of that, and now Ron McKay might just give it up He goes onto the curbing, almost loses it, opens the door once again for Ricky Arbeau to get the lead back. Tim Terry, Stephen Matthews right immediately behind them. As it all happens, Ron McKay makes the accident, just drops the hand a little too soon, trying to get the lead, and Ricky Arbeau back on point.
Ricky Arbeau is able to get back to the #1 spot, started this race on pole with a time of 15.035, and that was really close navigating through that traffic. You see the 98 behind these guys, that Stephen Matthews. No, he's not in third place. He is a lap down. So is that 75 Swall Machine of Tim Terry behind these. So top two leaders exchange those positions. Roddy McKay was able to get up to the #1 spot. 61 of Arbeau took it back once the 03 got wicked sideways there on the inside line. Talking about Roddy McKay, currently sitting in that #6 spot at the championship standing, so far without a win. He was the 2013 series championship.
As you ride in car with McKay, not the season he was hoping to have. In the beginning of the season, he was looking to aggressively defend last season's Super Series championship. This season, not as much luck, but Ron McKay still running strong here tonight behind the 61 of Ricky Arbeau, has led all but one lap as Carson Albee goes down one more lap out there. Arbeau just continues to be strong tonight. He knows what's on the line tonight. He knows that he can win the championship with the right finish. Carter Wilson now in third. Mike Rhino moves up a position from 5th to 4th, and Kevin Walker, the 35 machine, will now run position #5.
Ricky Arbeau has just been so strong, Joe. His average finish third this season. He currently already has 4 wins so far. If he's able to ride this thing out for much longer, he can make that 5. And these laps really starting to tick off. You mentioned the length of this racetrack, only 0.38 miles, so just under a fourth or a 4/10 of a mile rather in length. 61 of Arbeau continuing, no cautions yet to this extent in the race. He's already on lap number 27, continuing to just try to knock them off. We see he goes around the 29 machine now, putting Scott Negus 1 lap down, which only remains 16 drivers on the lead lap. Next car in contention for losing his lap is going to be the 6th machine of Nathan Doherty. You see him just a couple car lengths up in front of Arbeau as Arbeau in 61 tries to close in on him as well.
Top 3 starting to break away through the field now. Mike Rhino, the 34 machine, he's position #4, and he's had a litany of traffic right behind him that can all battle for position. Kevin Walker, the 35 Childhood Cancer Canada machine, position #5. Brad Eddy, the 72 machine, position #6. And then there's Travis Roma, the 38 machine, the JPB construction machine of Travis Roma. He's another driver who's had an up and down season, but tonight he looks very solid out there as right in front of him they battle for position. Brad Eddy trying to get around Kevin Walker. Kevin Walker flirting with leaving that door open. He may not have a choice as the 00 34 make contact. The 00 goes around in front of them.
One other car spins. The 02 machine gets up on the sand pile. That's going to be Christopher Garnett. Yellow flag is going to fly. We're going to be under the first caution, and that happened right in front of that battle that you were talking about, Joe. 2 cars getting together. It is the 00 machine, who has some left rear damage from earlier in the race and was running 1 lap down. 34 machine went to make a pass. That's Mike Rhino inside of the top 5, running in the 4th spot. Goes to the inside. 00 cuts him off. 34 is able to hang on to it. 00 goes around. Kevin Walker hangs on, and then the 02 machine spins, trying to make some evasive actions there on the inside lane. As he saw that wreck up in front of him, he went up and over that sand pile that supports the infield lighting here at Oxford Plains Speedway. He didn't go over, didn't get too much damage from that, but a tough break is going to put us under the first yellow of the evening. We're going to slow these guys down, and in a blink of an eye, only 15 drivers currently sit on the lead lap.
Yeah, the 00 there running just a little aggressive. He was already 1 lap down before the lead. He was already a lap down when the leaders came around. I know he's trying to defend that position, but the 34 and company just so fast around him, and it looks like he just dive bomb, for lack of a better term, that 34 machine of Mike Rhino, and the chain reaction started throughout the field. Less than 100 laps left to go. These are going to be 2 very quick races tonight. First one here at Oxford Plains, and then we will take a 15-minute hiatus before we go over to New Smyrna, where we're going to run another 125 lap race. But guys, Evan, if Ricky Arbeau continues to lead, if he wins, if he leads the most laps, the race may be exhibition at best.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look forward. Next week, we go to Lanier for 200 laps, and that is going to be the final race of the regular season, so to speak. These guys have one more challenge race, the All-Star race, which is open to drivers who have won in these past seasons. So he's really looking to lock this thing up right now and just try to go into next week's race with a cool head. I mean, you look at the championship standings, obviously the dominant driver. Again, 4 wins so far to this point, and he has a lead of 42 points over Kevin Walker. So Kevin Walker right now in the race is running top 5 at a number 5 position. However, no matter what, if Ricky Arbeau stays in front of him or remotely close to him on a racetrack, there's not going to be any chance for the 35 team to make up anything in these next 2 races. So Ricky Arbeau doing what he needs to do to definitely close off what has been a dominant 2014 campaign.
According to my math, 42 points are right now between Ricky Arbeau, the 4-time winner here in the 2014 season, super season I should say, and Kevin Walker, who's only had 1 win in the season, and even more between him and Steve Matthews in position number 3 in points right now. As the green flag flies and these guys are back at it, it looks like more trouble now on the track. The 55 Mackenzie Brewer out in the weeds, Craig Weigel in the 072, the 05 of Todd Cousins, all stuck way up in the middle of nowhere.
The 05 got into the back of the 55 machine, and they collected the 072 machine. They all went up into that gravel or the sand out there. Again, no outside retaining wall. These guys went out off the racing surface, had to navigate their way back onto the racetrack. Yellow flag does fly, so quickly back under the caution flag at Oxford Plains Speedway. Gonna slow him back down. Ricky Arbeau maintains the number 1 spot.
And the more yellow flag laps we have, the better it serves Ricky Arbeau right now, because he can just continue to sit there and tick off laps and defend that championship. As I was saying, going into that second yellow flag a moment ago, 42 laps, 42 points between those two drivers, the first and second place driver right now in the points, and there's just not a whole lot of time. All Ricky Arbeau really has to do tonight is finish, and he should be able to solidify his championship hopes with 2 races, officially 2 races left to go after this. Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break and let them all sort it all out, get the jinxes out of the cars. You're watching the Maritime iRacing League from Oxford Plains Speedway live on ETV Motorsports Entertainment.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last unstruck, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last unstruck, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last unstruck, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last unstruck, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last unstruck, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last unstruck, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last unstruck, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last unstruck, gotta tell the ground. Oh, Miss Lucy dead and gone, left me here to weep and moan.
Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Ricky Arbeau still in the lead, but it looks like electrical issues for the 03 of Ron McKay, and he is going to try to have to get it back here on the track. Green flag flies here at Oxford Plains Speedway for the Maritime iRacing League, and Arbeau back on the lead lap, and not only on the lead lap, back on the point as he just takes off from the rest of his field. Carter Wilson now second, Mike Rhino third, Kevin Walker fourth, Brad Eddy top 5, and now it's a battle for position number 2 that Carter Wilson will win handily. It's a battle now for position number 3 as Mike Rhino tries to hold on. Kevin Walker doing everything he can to prevent it. Another car in the grass. It's a 54 machine of Carson Albee.
Yeah, that outside lane is definitely not where you want to be. You see the 34, he's struggling to try to get in line. Does he cut in front of the 72? No, he's going to stay outside as the 35 of Kevin Walker is able to clear him for the number 3 spot, and 72 machine of Brad Eddy is going to get the number 4 position as well. Rhino gives him a shot then going into turn number 3. Not happy with that, so Mike Rhino going to drop back to P5. Very similar to what we saw with Steven Matthews, who started outside of row number 1. Quickly drop back to 5th, just like Rhino did there, because the outside lane just not where you want to be.
The Rhino drops the horn on the 72 of Brad Eddy, but Brad Eddy doesn't mind because he is now up in position number 4. Kevin Walker and Carter Wilson right immediately behind them, all chasing Ricky Arbeau. But Arbeau, nobody has a thing to answer to him right now at this very quick track. Also in the mix now, Jake Goodwin, who started towards the tail end of this field, started position number 20, is now in the top 10 for the first time tonight. He's now position number 7. Sean Pierce, the 21 machine, 8. Stephen Arsenal, 9th. And Doug Ubley, your top 10 right now, as drivers are scattered all around the track. Ron McKay, who was having those electrical issues, he's now relegated all the way back to 15th.
Yeah, we talk about Jake Goodwin currently running 7th on a racetrack again. No win yet this season. Does have the best average starting position out of any of the drivers in this field, starting at an average position of the number 3 spot. However, you mentioned starting near the back of the pack, the first car on the qualifying grid that did take a time. He sits 7th right now, still looking for that first win on this season. He's been close. He got a lot of runner-up finishes, especially in those opening races of this 2014 campaign. He does have a fast car. The only problem is he's starting to run out of time trying to catch up to Ricky Arbeau, who set sail now over a second away from Carter Wilson in the 27 machine, who sits 2nd.
Less than 75 laps remain here at Oxford Plains Speedway. And just to give you an idea of how dominant Ricky Arbeau is being right now, he's running a lap times about 15.3 seconds. On Carter Wilson in position number 2, he's got over 1.2 second lead. To give you an idea, that is what, almost 2/15 of the track almost?
I mean, he's really set sail, and no, he's not really taken off anymore. Again, it's staying pretty much in that 1.1, 1.2 second range between him and Carter Wilson as they run right now. Ricky Arbeau just had to navigate the 00 machine of Martin Landry, some lap traffic, but Arbeau has the lead. He just wants to take it easy. You don't want to keep trying to pull away. If you have a comfortable enough lead, you don't want to overwork that race car, so he's out where he wants to be right now. Carter Wilson picks up 200ths of a second. Actually, it's going to update it now. 1.2 seconds is the gap, so Arbeau with a small advantage that last time. Bottom was the scoring went through. So Ricky Arbeau doing what he needs to do. You mentioned trying to solidify that championship.
And no sooner do I say that, Carter Wilson gets a little bit of wind in his back sail, cutting down on the lead that Arbeau has. The good news for him is he's got plenty of time to do it. The bad news is this is a short race around a very, very, very short track. He may not have all the time in the world. He needs to start showing a little bit of urgency out there. Jake Goodwin showing a little bit of urgency is in the 48 machine. He's position number 6, right behind Mike Rhino, the 34. That battle is heating up very, very quickly. The 48 now trying to force the issue with the 34. 34 gets hit. 34 almost goes around, able to save it, but the 48 machine, that 48 machine, he is not a very patient man. Jake Goodwin knows he's got one chance for romance, and he uses the chrome horn to get around the 34 of Mike Rhino.
This Rhino try to get to him. He tries to get to him in turn 4. Can't get it done. These guys aren't playing nice. The battle is for that number 5 spot as Mike Rhino gets shuffled out of the way physically by Jake Goodwin in the 48's front bumper. So we see he now moves up inside of the top 5 right now as leaders take lap number 61. Jake Goodwin always drives very physical, but you see there that he wasn't going to sit around and wait. He wanted to get going. 72 machine, Craig Weigel sideways down below the curbing into the infield. That is the 72 of Weigel running P15. He's going to get back out on the racetrack, but that was a close call.
Very close call. If you get bumped, if you get shoved off the track, you don't go in a wall, you don't have a chance to save it. You end up in the weeds out in the middle of nowhere, and that is the end, effectively the end of your night. We've seen it happen to a couple guys tonight out here as a 072 of Craig Weigel. He was involved in one of those incidents out in the weeds. He's going to limp around the infield of the track, and that is going to cost him his night effectively. Maybe he'll have a little bit better luck in the second half of our feature tonight here on ETV Motorsports Entertainment. Arbeau continues to lead. Todd Cousins now goes a lap down in the 05 machine. As you see right there on your screen, the 27 of Carter Wilson, Kevin Walker, Brad Eddy, all getting around Todd Cousins. without incident. Jake Goodwin trying to improve his position.
Those three, Wilson, Walker, and Eddie, very close together. If you ignore the gap between Ricky Garbeau and Carter Wilson, number 1 and number 2 spots of about 1.3 seconds. All these guys within half a second of each other, P2 through 4. Then you got to look 2 more seconds, which would be 3.4 seconds back from race leader, to get to the number 5 position and Jake Goodwin. So these 3 cars here running positions 2, 3, and 4 right now. Carter Wilson, Kevin Walker, and Brad Eddy, respectfully, kind of in their own little pack. I know the 35 of Kevin Walker, he's been knocking on the bumper of Carter Wilson these last couple laps, not really going to force anything. However, they are not making up the time that they need to on Ricky Garbeau if this thing goes green, to be able to get up there and take a shot at that checkered flag if it comes down to it.
They were catching up time, and that run they had, that tailwind that they had, seems to have died down. Now the gap increases between Garbeau and Wilson, 1.3 seconds that time around. This time should be closer to 1.4. It is a 1.4 seconds between them and Carter Wilson. Carter Wilson, Kevin Walker, at this point, unless another yellow flag comes out, they're going to be battling for position number 2.
Caution flag at a fly 38. Travis Roma was turned around outside of turn number 1, and that's going to bring out the yellow flag, and looks like it's going to be a self-spin as they were pushing 3 wide in front of him. And taking a look at the onboard, maybe trying to make a little bit of an evasive action, as we saw the 05 machine have a wiggle in front of him. And Travis Roma tried to avoid it, spun that thing around, went outside of the racetrack there in turn 1, bringing out the yellow.
Good news for him is even though he did cut in front of traffic, he did not lose anything, or he did not hurt anybody. The 33 of Doug Hugh with a Pat Blue machine, I am sure, is incredibly grateful to watch a 38 barely escape that trouble and barely escape going around him. So Travis Roma, the good news is he's still got a car that's strong, the car that's viable. The bad news is not only is he running out of time, but he's going to be stuck towards the back of the field as a result of that incident. Travis Roma will be scored position number 15 right now, which is at the very tail end of the lead lap cars. Yellow flag out for the 3rd time tonight. Ricky Garbeau, Carter Wilson, your top 2, and now that Carter Wilson has an opportunity in the Big Spruce Brewing Company machine, you got to think, does he have the opportunity, or does he have anything to answer to that very dominant 61 of Ricky Garbeau?
I think that this caution is going to hurt Carter Wilson, because 2 restarts, the drop of the initial green flag, and then we went back green flag racing after the yellow flag. It has been the guy starting outside on row number 1, so on the outside lane in the 2nd starting spot, that has dropped to 5th position both times. And that is simply because the preferred lane around this place is going to be the inside line, and the outside you can battle, you can try to hang tough, but in the end, just give it a lap or 2, that inside lane is going to prevail. So Carter Wilson is going to have to hope that Kevin Walker, who he was battling with that entire time, the 35 machine, is going to be starting 3rd inside row 2. That Walker does not have a good restart, and that he's able to pull in line, because otherwise that 27 machine is going to start to slide back up there on the top.
And if he starts to slide back, if he starts to fall through the field, he is going to be in some very, very big trouble out there. He cannot afford that. He cannot afford having that tow bar attached to the car. The 61 of Ricky Garbeau down low, the 27 high, they are doubled up out there, and they're going to get ready to go green flag racing here as soon as the pace car makes a hard left turn. Them here at pit road, just because of the way they're shaped. You ever look at it from the helicopter camera? It always entertains you the way they look. Green flag flies. Ricky Garbeau gets the big jump. 48 machine of Jake Goodwin got a wiggle as he spun the tires out there, but it looks like the 27 is the big loser. The 27 machine gets stuck high, and now the 27 of Carter Wilson is going to not only lose 2nd, he might lose 3rd, he might even lose 4th as a result of being stuck on the high side.
Yeah, just as I predicted, he tried to get down in front of the 72. 72 Brad Eddy saw that coming, had to throw it in there to turn 1. 27's going to come down, not enough room. Gets turned by the 52 of Stephen Arsenal. He's going to go around. Everybody else scatters. No harm, no foul. Yellow flag is out. Carter Wilson had to try to get down in line. Could not stay outside any longer, or he knew that his chances at a top 5 would start to slip away, and he was watching them slip away. Is then evidently going to get dumped for it, as there was just no room. 52 car was there.
52 car was right there. The 27 of Carter Wilson tried to force the issue, and, you know, exactly that. No room. After he tried to force the issue, the 52 of Steven Arsenault just kind of give him the bump, and that was the end of it. But that being said, on the other half of that, he could have, 27 could have been there. It looks like the 52, knowing that 27 is in front of him, just kept the hammer down on that 52 machine of Arsenault, and he ended up giving the 27 machine of Carter Wilson exactly what he thought he deserved. So Arsenault being a little aggressive on the track, but when you're rapidly running out of time, I think you're allowed to do so.
Yeah, and the 52 knew what he was going to do. He could have checked up. He didn't. He just got into the left rear. He knew what he was doing. He just didn't want that 27 get in front of him. Good job buying that 27 Wilson to just spin that thing right around. He's actually currently being scored in the 8th spot because he got going so quickly and because of where he was in comparison to the scoring loops on the racetrack. Looks like he may be able to maintain that position. Now we're gonna have to see what Kevin Walker can do. So that is both times, or all 3 times that we've had a restart here. The guy on the outside lane, second starting spot, has dropped to position 5 or worse. So Kevin Walker not liking his odds right now in the Childhood Cancer Canada machine, currently sitting in that P2 spot.
That P2 spot's been a very, very dangerous place to restart from because that high line is just not there here at Oxford Plains. That low line is really the place to be, and you need to get low, in a hurry, or if you're going to restart from that high side, you just need to drop the hammer as fast as you can and hope for the best. Hope the guy underneath you spins the tires and you can get that jump in front of him. It's happened before, and it might happen again, though I doubt it, considering how strong that 61 of Ricky Arbeau has been all night. Remember, this is a driver who has not all night, he's only relinquished 1 lap and then immediately got it back as a result of poor driving by the 03 of Ron McKay. So Ricky Arbeau knows what he's doing at this track, knows the actions that are on the line for him, and knows all he needs is 1 big win here, and the season is over. Checkmate Arbeau. Green flag flies, pace car gets out of the way, Arbeau drops the hammer. We are back to green flag racing, lap 82, and just like we called it, the 35 of Kevin Walker struggling to stay alive.
He's side by side with a 72 of Brad Eddy. They're still door to door. 35 just has a nose out there. 72 of Eddy is going to get him off the corner. Now here comes Jake Goodwin looking for a top 3 spot after starting in position number back there in 20th, Joe, at the beginning of this race, and he's side by side with the struggling 35 of Kevin Walker, who desperately wants to find a place in line. Can he cut in front of the 52? We saw that with Wilson last time. No, he's going to learn from that mistake. 35 is going to stay on the top lane for now, but he's all the way dropped back, and he's currently sitting side by side now for the fourth spot.
Jake Goodwin desperately needs a top 3. He can really use a win at this point in the season. Top 3 might just be enough to at least give him some release to this season. Kevin Walker drops all the way from 2nd. Now he's in 5th. He's able to drop down on the bottom line. Ron McKay has worked his way up to position number 6. Sean Pierce is in 7th. And now it looks like a battle for 8th right now on the track as Kyle Gammon trying to get around the 6 of Nathan Doherty. Kyle Gammon, he was one of the transferees that came in tonight from the Sportsman race. And Gammon showing his muscle, showing why he deserves to be in the Super Series tonight. Kyle Gammon takes away that position, and when next time around, he should be scored position number 8, as we got some trouble behind him, it looks like.
O2 machine is going to go around. Christopher Garnett is out in the dirt, and looks like going into turn 1, 29 machine just forgot which pedal was the brake and ran over the O2 and sent Garnett for a spin out there outside of the racetrack, and that's gonna put him off track right now. So tough break for him and his crew. They're gonna have to try to recover. He currently sits 4 laps down right now as he runs in position number 19. Don't think the caution flag is thrown. Does look like Ricky Arbeau is still going at full speed, so I believe we're still green on the track.
And that is a tough one for Chris Garnett after finishing top 3 last week in the Maritime iRacing League. To have yourself thrown out like that and have yourself just thrown out in the weeds for the dogs to tear at that machine. The good news, though, for him, he's got another chance at a completely different track. New Smyrna should be a new challenge for all these guys, and we should see a little bit of renaissance from some of the stronger drivers out there. The number 61 of Arbeau, he does not need a renaissance, though. Arbeau continuing to lead in just what's been a destructive, dominating performance here. 92 laps about to be scored, and he's led all 91 of them. He will have led all 92 of them when we come around to the start-finish line.
You were talking about the 51 of Kyle Gavin, and he transferred in from the Sportsman Series race that you talked about, the other division of the MIRL that runs on Monday nights. And without a doubt, you talked about that he proves that he needs to be up here in the Super Series, that he deserves to be where he is. He is currently the Sportsman Series points leader with 3 wins over there as well. So coming over here, not the first time that we've seen him on Wednesday nights, showing what he could do, currently running solid top 10.
More importantly, though, if he can win that Sportsman Series, he will lock himself in for a place next fall in the Maritime iRacing League. So lots of stuff on the mind right now of that driver, of that nine machine, Kyle Gammon. He's got a lot to think about. He's got a lot on his mind. 51 machine, I should say, of Kyle Gammon. But right now, it's all about running position number 8 and getting himself a top 10, stealing himself a top 10. As it were. No one says anything to answer to Ricky Arbeau. Battles for second on back as Brad Eddy, Jake Goodwin, Kevin Walker, the 72, the 48, the 35. They all continue to run in line. Time running out, though. It's going to be 29 laps to go.
Yeah, laps certainly starting to wind down. It's all Ricky Arbeau. He continues to try to pull away to where he was before the yellow flag flew. It is a distance between him and the second place car in excess of 1 second. Right now he sits 1.1 seconds in front of Brad Eddy, who has assumed that number 2 spot in the 72 machine. Jake Goodwin as well in the 48 will documented coming up from the 20th spot at the beginning of this race. He runs in the top 3, and Kevin Walker in the 35, who slid back after starting on the outside lane, is trying to creep forward. He's back up to the 4th spot, and he's knocking on the back door of Jake Goodwin through 3 and 4, gets to within inches of that back bumper. The Red Bull 48 machine, this time by the stripe, though, still sits P4.
Battle now around position number 10 is Mike Rhino trying to hold off the 98 of Stephen Matthews. Remember, Matthews was involved in one of the first incidents this evening to bring out a yellow flag. So the 98 of Matthews, he's now trying to redeem himself just a little bit here at Oxford Plains Speedway, bumping on that back bumper of the 34 of Mike Rhino, knocking it around, trying to get Rhino to make a mistake here on track. Not going to happen, though. 25 laps left to go. Rhino looking the best he has worked all night, and now he got trouble on the track. The 33 of Doug Hubbley got around in turn number 2, and he, after with some help from the 072 machine of Craig Weigel, and it looks like that those two will bring out another caution flag.
Yeah, that was pushing 3 wide with a 54 machine slow up on the top of the racetrack there in 1 and 2, and that is the 54 car. Not sure what was going on with that. That is Carson Obe. We saw him go around earlier in the race, and he was running very off pace. I don't know if he was meeting minimum speed or not, but on the top lane, and with that side-by-side battle with the lap car, the 00 of Martin Landry, it just forced the 072 to have to take a little bit of a different line. 33 did push up the racetrack a little bit when he was making his corner. It evidently came down right when that 00 was there, and Doug Hubbley unfortunately comes down in the Labatt Blue machine, gets spun. Both those cars picking up damage. Tim Terry at a 75 just gets a piece of it as well, and back under yellow.
Goodwin, number 3, 5 right now. This time around, 61 machine, he's continued to run up in position number 1. The 72 machine of Eddie, 2nd. Jake Goodwin, 3rd. Kevin Walker, 4th. Stephen Arsenal. Mike Rhino holding on to position number 10. And the battle I'm going to be watching when we go back to Green Flag Racing, Evan, is that highly contested battle between the 34 of Rhino and the 98 of Stephen Matthews for position number 9. Or number 10, I should say.
Yeah, those guys have been very fast. Remember Mike Rhino not making any friends with Jake Goodwin early in the race. However, they are separated by 7 positions on the racetrack right now. Does this open up the door for Jake Goodwin, as we are now inside 20 to go? This time by is going to be 19 laps remaining at the Oxford Plains Speedway. We do go green for 18 laps remaining. Jake Goodwin on the inside of row 2 seems to be the better spot than starting outside, where that 72 of Brad Eddy is. Doubled up lights off atop the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car, set to go back green this time by.
Ricky Arbeau has led all but 1 lap here at Oxford Plains in pursuit of his championship. Let's see if he can put the
He's around.
48 goes around. Big wiggle for the 48. He is going to get booted into the infield, and that caution flag will come out for the 48. Jake spun the tires on the restart, and he and Jake Goodwin, he was in the top 3, and then he lost it all due to a mistake.
Kirby to the right, regained control of the car, however was not pointed straight, got into the side of the 35 of Kevin Walker, then was eventually turned by the 52. Those guys all stacked up behind them, and a couple of guys getting a little bit of damage from that, but really 40 to Jake Goodwin could have dropped all the way to the tail of the lead lap. We're going to slow him back down, group him back up for another late race restart.
And as these restarts get slimmer and slimmer on the track, it's something to consider here. They're running out of time. They're going to get to a point here very, very quickly. If they have another restart, the race will end under yellow flag. And the only person that can benefit is Ricky Arbeau, who continues to stay up front. Sure, you'll have Brad Eddy, Kevin Walker, then battle for position behind him. But they need to make this move the move of the race if they want to try to win this race. So I just don't see it happening.
No, it's going to be hard to get that 61 of Arbeau out of the way. And you talk about short track racing. We've seen it so far in this race. It's not a strange thing to see, and that is using that bumper as a possibility, but I mean, the 6-wood approach has been so strong. He gets to choose, he gets to go what he wants. He dictates when we do go back green flag racing because he has absolute control of that restart. I just don't see these guys being able to do anything. 72 of Brad Eddy, who has worked his way up to get to this spot right now, qualified outside of the top 10, sits second right now, but again, not the best place to be on the restart. So another person to keep an eye on would be Kevin Walker. He's going to be starting behind Arbo in the number 3 spot, and we haven't really talked about it at all tonight, but we just saw it there, so don't spin those tires either.
Don't spin the tires. Don't make a critical mistake. This is the opportunity you have. This is where the boys are separated from the men and champions are made. If you can make this critical move, you improve your worth here and the reason why you're in the Super Series here in the Maritime iRacing League. The pace car lights, it looks like the pace car will come off this time around into turns 3 and 4, and as soon as the pace car gets out of the way, Ricky Arbo will have full control of this field. Wastes no time. He gets up. He gets going. Brad Eddy now position number 2. Kevin Walker 3rd. Ron McKay 4th. Stephen Arsenal, the top 5, is now the 21 machine gets around. The 98 machine gets around. Another car gets around. The 38 machine gets around. Big trouble on the stretch going out turns 1 and 2.
That's all going to start with the 21 machine on the inside of Mike Rhino. I don't know if there was contact or not. They got really close. 21 gets sideways, and again, no inside retaining wall. Goes for a ride on those dirt piles. Nearly flips right by the infield lighting, and they piled him in there down the back straightaway and out of turn number 2, trying to get around that. Travis Roma gets turned by Tim Terry after trying to avoid the 98, who was spinning in front of the field 75 machine. Tim Terry gets spun up the racetrack and nearly avoids a solid hit from the 05 machine. Todd Cousins just narrowly avoiding that and slowing him back down again, now with inside of 10 laps to go, and nothing has changed up front. Arbo, Eddy, and Walker, the top 3.
As we take a look at that play, the car that I was watching the entire time was that 38 of Travis Roma, who had such a good night. With that wreck in front of him, he was forced to go straight down, try to avoid that number 98 machine, the 98 belonging to Stephen Matthews. In doing that, Tim Terry, to the 75 machine, the Swan, just gets straight into the back of the 38, and then the 38 goes flipping off the sand dune, head over heels, and that is going to put him on his roof and then ultimately back over. But Travis Roma going to be in a world of hurt after that hit.
Yeah, tough break for all of those guys. Again, Tim Terry getting spun, and he nearly got nailed by the 05 Todd Cousins. One other car that was spinning quite quickly on the racing surface as he tried to stay in the gas to get out of it was Stephen Matthews. Matthews currently sitting P12 right now. A lot of torn up sheet metal is spread throughout this pack. I know that Kevin Walker inside of the top 3 in the number 3 spot has a little bit of left front damage. The only 2 clean cars that I see really are the guys sitting P1 and 2 for now.
These guys may be the only 2 drivers out here who did not get any sort of damage on the track, which is nothing short of a miracle. As they double them up this time, my pace car lights are off. We will go back to green flag racing with 5 laps left to go. And Evan, I've got a feeling this is going to be the restart of the night. If there's an incident that comes out after this, the race is going to end under the yellow flag.
Yeah, we're doubled up. Lights are off atop the pace car. A caution could end this thing. Arbo on the inside, Brad on the outside. Pace car to the pit lane. Ricky Arbo takes off. 72 is able to get in line for the 2nd spot as they fan out behind them.
The 61 continues to lead out there. Now the 6 machine is going around. The 6 of Nathan Doherty is going around, and he is not going to be out there. No caution flag though for that. Now the 29 machine goes around. Scott Negus gets around, and he's going to slow up the field. And he looks like he had a couple guys go around behind him, including the 05 of Todd Cousins. That is going to bring out the yellow flag, and this race, for all intents and purposes, is over.
Yeah, that whole lap was a crapshoot there. 29 gets pretty much just doored down a straightaway, but an 98 machine of Stephen Matthews, 29, gets sideways, hangs onto it. 05 Todd Cousins gets nailed by the 02. 05 eventually does get turned around, and a very chaotic lap is going to lead to the end of what has been a very chaotic race for everybody but Ricky Arbo. How about going flag to flag in the MIRL Super Series? Going to lead every lap. Ricky Arbeau, just a couple more laps here under the yellow flag, and he is going to walk away with a 5th win in this 2014 campaign.
And what a dominant campaign he has had this season. This just really had a campaign that he has can be proud of, can really hang his credentials on. The 61 machine just so dominant out here week in and week out. Win number 5 on the season, and that is going to solidify the championship trophy. Give it to Ricky Arbeau because he has earned it. No matter what happens the next 2 races, Arbeau will be your champion.
And not unexpected for sure. We came into this 2014 campaign with questions, wondering what guys like Roddy McKay would do, trying to come in here to defend their championship. Jake Goodwin started off, I think, with the first 3 races, got 2 runner-up finishes in the second spot, wondering what he could do at a championship battle. But in the end, it was Ricky Arbeau that really set the standard. He has the second best average start of anybody, starting in position number 5 as an average start. Started on pole tonight, going to go flag to flag for the checkered flag. Average finish of 3rd highest amongst all drivers, and again walking away tonight with his 5th victory, highest out of any other drivers here in this 2014 campaign. Coming out of 4, he's looking for that yellow flag and a checkered flag as well.
Both flags fly simultaneously, and the 2014 Super Series champion Arbeau wastes no time celebrating the big win. He is going to burn him out there down in front of pit road. And Ricky Arbeau, your big winner, win number 5 here. The season. Arsenal, the top 5, Carter Wilson, Mike Rhino, Kyle Gammon, Jake Goodwin, and Travis Roma, your top 10. The 61 of Ricky Arbeau pulling it around. Let's see if we can talk to him real quick there in the car, because I know he's going to have a very busy night ahead of him. Ricky, congratulations, win number 5. That's the win. That should solidify your season.
Oh, this is awesome. I can't believe it, really. Like, yeah, I think that pretty much, I think that's sealed up. We'll see. I'm going to hopefully go out in New Smyrna and hopefully be just as strong.
About 15 minutes from now, Ricky, we're going to go to New Smyrna, but at this point, it doesn't matter. You can just go out there and have fun. How much of a weight does that lift off your shoulders?
It's really kind of nice to hear that. You know, it really is, because now the pressure's kind of off. Tonight, I was really worried about Oxford. I put in a lot of time this week, let me tell you. We did a lot of laps, and then we hit on something. It seems to be a regular thing. We're finding out what to do. The team's working great together. Me and Kevin, Chuck, Nathan, Chris, Martin, all of us over at York County. You know, we're putting in a lot of time at each track and testing all different configurations, all this and that, and it's working out.
Ricky Arbeau solidifying his championship season with a first-place finish at Oxford Plains. We'll let you get back to the business of racing. We'll see you in about 10 minutes' time over at New Smyrna.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Energy Hour, and everybody on board. Let's go get him again.
One more time for Ricky Arbeau, winning race number 5 with a chance to win race number 6. Brad Eddy finished 2nd. He's caught up with Evan Pasoko.
That's right. We're down here on the pit lane with the driver of the 72, Brad Eddy. Brad, coming out of those late race restarts, knowing you're going to be on the outside of road number 1, obviously getting to the inside going to be a priority for you. Once you did so, did you have anything for Ricky up front?
I think maybe with 4 more laps I could have, but that's cliche for me to say that. I think he had quite a good piece, and over the longer run there, as I burned off fuel, I just got very tight, and I had to change up my line there at the end. So maybe I could have got him if he made a mistake, but he doesn't make too many mistakes late in the race, so that was a good win for him.
What was the pace of the race for you? We saw in the opening stages a lot of green flag racing, and then typically short track style, a string of yellow flags, cautions, breeding cautions, coming down to that checkered flag. We were taking a look at where you started to where you finished. Qualified outside of the top 10. Walk us through your march up there to the front row.
Just biding my time, really, and waiting for guys to make mistakes and following guys into holes, and just a lot like real life racing. So it was really fun out there, and this is probably one of the most fun races I've had in a long time, just coming from mid-pack up to the front there. So it was fun. I was disappointed with my qualifying effort. Obviously, who wouldn't be? You're expected to qualify in the top 5 based off your practice time. So I'm just pleased with the run tonight, and pleased for 2nd for CBC Racing and all the guys there. It's a shame for Jake to spin the tires and get jacked up there at the end, but it just happens sometimes.
And if before we let you go, I know you got another race to get to. Any other sponsors or shout-outs you want to throw out there?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to thank Racing for Chelsea and just everything that Pat does for that. I mean, it just hats off to him for everything that he does. He's just such a great guy, and it really comes out in this cause that he's doing. And they supported us last week with the second place run there, so it's pretty awesome. And I'd like to thank Samuel Metals, Danish Collision Center, and Custom Colors, Ricky Arbo. The guy that beat me tonight did my paint, so it looks really great. And again, CBC Racing, just the best guys to run with, and it's just fun. And everybody's got that Cape Red connection.
And that is going to be Brad Eddy last week coming home third, this evening here in our first race coming home second. Thanks for talking with us, and hopefully you can advance one more spot and get your first win on the season coming up.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for having me. Wish me luck.
That is driver of the 72, Brad Eddy, going to come home in the second position. Joe, you've run down there to the pit lane. You've caught up with Kevin Walker in the 35.
Yeah, Kevin Walker getting ready to go back to the business of racing over at New Smyrna here real quick. And before I let you do that, Kevin, good run tonight. How hard was it to tame this very, very short track?
It was hard. Just you had to be really cautious in your throttle response because the track is so small. But I knew that I had nothing restarting on the outside on the restart, so I just tried to position myself in case if a caution came out, so I would restart on the inside.
Not bad still, considering you ended up finishing third. Now you're going to go to New Smyrna. Completely different track, completely different style of racing. How does your racing style change between the two tracks?
It changes a little bit, I guess. I just got to be as disciplined as I was. I mean, it takes a lot of patience. I mean, this type of short track racing. So all it is just patience.
Kevin, real quick, patience is going to be the name of the game there. What's the game plan going in? Are you in, or do you have a car that can win at New Smyrna tonight?
I think Ricky's got the car to win. Kind of seems like it. It's his setup that's underneath my car. I tried setups from different team members, and Ricky's is the setup that's helping me out right now. It's a totally new setup package that we're running this week compared to what we've been running previous week. So it's been working out good so far. Right now I still got to get a feel for it. It feels a little bit too loose for me, so I got to tighten it up before race starts.
We'll let you get to that. Kevin Walker finishing third tonight. We will see you in just about 10 minutes when we go racing from New Smyrna.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Kevin Walker finishing third tonight. Let's go ahead and step away from the microphones as we get everything reconfigured one more time here at ETV Motorsports Entertainment. Ricky Arbo will go into New Smyrna, the 2014 Super Series champion. We will take a quick break, come back and join us again in 10 minutes. Go get your popcorn, get yourself a nice cold beverage, because we're going to go do it all again. 125 laps from the half mile at New Smyrna Speedway. We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, in about 10 minutes' time here on ETV Motorsports Entertainment.